In this video, we can discuss about pharmacology of hemostatic agents and coagulants. As we all know, there are different substances which are used to arrest the blood loss. And this arrest of blood loss can be done by either vasoconstriction or by promoting coagulation of the blood. And the agent which are used to promote the coagulation of the blood is known as coagulants. And the term hemostatic agent include both coagulant as well as the agent which are used to arrest bleeding either by vasoconstriction or by producing coagulation of the blood. And this hemostasis and the blood coagulation involve a complex interaction between injured blood vessels, platelet and coagulation factors. So here we will discuss hemostatic agent first, then systemic agent or coagulant later in this video. So hemostatic agent can be classified into local agents. As the name indicate, it will act at the local site of bleeding and approachable site, and systemic agent which are administered as injection to the blood circulation for the coagulant action. And local agents include adrenaline, thrombin, fibrin glue, gelatin, sodium alginate and tranexamic acid. And systemic agents include vitamin K, fibrinogen, anti-hemophilic factor, ethamsulate and desmopressin. First, we can discuss about local hemostatic agents. These are the substances which are used to stop bleeding from the local as well as approachable site. And these local hemostatic agents are particularly effective in the oozing surface like tooth socket as well as abrasions. And the different local hemostatic agents are absorbable material like fibrin, which are prepared from the human plasma and dried as a sheet or foam, or gelatin form or oxidized cellulose, which are prepared as strips which can be cut and placed in the wound. And this absorbable material like fibrin as well as gelatin form as well as oxidized cellulose will provide a meshwork which will activate the clotting mechanism and which will check or which will stop the bleeding. So that is the first type of local hemostatic agent, absorbable material like fibrin, gelatin form and oxidized cellulose. Now another local hemostatic agent is adrenaline. As we all know, adrenaline is an sympathomimetic drug which will act on adrenergic receptor. So they will arrest the bleeding by causing vasoconstriction. Usually 0.1% solution is used to control the capillary oozing. And as we know, adrenaline will cause different sympathomimetic action in beta 1 adrenergic receptor which are present in the heart, and it will change or it will act at heart cell to produce increasing heart rate as well as increasing force of contraction. So by using adrenaline in patient with a serious complication, it may be harmful. So it should be avoided in patient with the serious complication for their local hemostatic action. And this adrenaline can be used in bleeding after tooth extraction or from other sites. Now another local hemostatic agent is gelatin, which is an absorbable hemostatic agent which is available as sponges as well as filling, and this is mainly used in surgical procedures. Now other local hemostatic agents are astringents like tannic acid and metallic salt, which are occasionally applied on bleeding gum as well as bleeding piles. Now thrombin, another local hemostatic agent which is obtained from the bovine plasma, and it may be applied as dye powder or freshly prepared solution to the bleeding surface in hemophilia. So that is all about the hemostatic agents. Now we can come to the systemic hemostatic agent which is also known as coagulant. This is a very important topic for exam point of view. So as a definition, we can define coagulants as the substances or systemic hemostatic agents which will promote the blood coagulation and which are used in different hemorrhagic states. And this coagulant is mainly classified into vitamin K as well as miscellaneous agents. So vitamin K may be vitamin K1 as well as K3. Vitamin K1 is also known as phytonadiones, as well as fat soluble K3 synthetic vitamin K like fat soluble menadione like acetaminophen, then water soluble menadiones like sodium bisulfate and menadione sodium diphosphates, and some other miscellaneous coagulants like fibrinogen, anti-hemophilic factor, desmopredsin, adrenochromo mono semicarbazole, rutin, and ethamsylate. Out of this, vitamin K is very important for exam point of view as a coagulant. So let's discuss vitamin K in detail here. Vitamin K is an fat soluble vitamin dietary principle which is required for the synthesis of clotting factor. And this vitamin K can exist in different forms like vitamin K1, K2, K3, and K1 is also known as phytonadione, as well as K3 is also known as menadiol and sodium biphosphate. And daily requirement is 3 to 10 microgram per day external source, and total requirement of adult dose may be 50 to 100 microgram per day. Now coming to the mechanism of action, this vitamin K will act as an cofactor in late stage of synthesis of different coagulation protein or clotting factor which are produced by liver. So they will act as an cofactor for the synthesis of different clotting factors like prothrombin, factor 7, 9 and 10. So by this vitamin K dependent action on the clotting factor, they confirm the capacity to bind with the calcium and to get bond with the phospholipase surface, which is an essential properties required for the participation of coagulation cascade. So they will act at each step where there will be a binding with calcium, factor 7, 9 and 10. So this is the pathway for protein coagulation by different clotting factors. Finally, it will form fibrin, insoluble fibrin from soluble fibrin by this fibrin is formed from the fibrinogen with the help of thrombin. So vitamin K will act at all the site of act as a cofactor for the synthesis of different clotting factor like prothrombin as well as factor 7, 9 and 10. Now coming to the adverse drug reactions, vitamin K is also known as a systemic hemostatic agent which are administered as systemic injections or different IV or IM injection. So after IV injection, it may produce flushing, sweating and anaphylactic reactions. After subcutaneous and IM injection, it may produce severe pain and bleeding at the site of injection. And menadione may cause hemolysis and other symptoms in newborns. So it should not be used in newborns. And this hemolysis is more susceptible in case of G6PD deficiency as well as neonates. So it should not be used in patient with G6PD deficiency as well as in neonates. Now coming to the uses of vitamin K, it is used in case of dietary deficiency of vitamin K, which may lead to the prevention of coagulation. So we have to administer the vitamin K in order to improve the coagulation property for the synthesis of clotting factor. And we can use vitamin K in case of prolonged antimicrobial therapy. So after prolonged antimicrobial therapy, there is a chance for decreasing clotting factors. So in that case, we can use vitamin K to increase the clotting factor synthesis. It is also used in obstructive jaundice with hemorrhagic symptoms as well as malabsorption syndromes. It is also used in liver diseases like cirrhosis and viral hepatitis associated bleeding, which is usually respond purely to vitamin K. Also in case of newborn, since all the newborn have low level of prothrombin as well as other clotting factor, so by administering vitamin K, we can increases the synthesis of clotting factor. And also for the treatment of overdosage of oral anticoagulant like warfarin. So if there is an increasing dose of oral anticoagulant, there is a chance for bleeding. So in that case, we can use vitamin K as an antidote to control the bleeding in anticoagulant therapy or as well as salicylate poisoning like aspirin poisoning. So these are the uses of vitamin K. Now coming to some miscellaneous agents like fibrinogen and anti-hemophilic factors. Let's start with the fibrinogen. Usually the fibrinogen fraction of human plasma is usually employed to control the bleeding, and this fibrinogen is mainly used to control the bleeding in case of hemophilia, anti-hemophilic globulin deficiency and acute afibrinogenic states. Now another miscellaneous agent coagulant is anti-hemophilic factor. It is a concentrated human anti-human globulin which is prepared from the pooled human plasma, which is mainly used for the treatment of or for the arrest of bleeding in case of hemophilia as well as anti-human globulin deficiency patients. It is highly effective in controlling bleeding episode, but the action is very short. Other miscellaneous coagulants are desmopressin. Desmopressin will release factor 8 and von Willebrand factor from the vascular endothelial cells, and it will prevent or it will stop bleeding in hemophilia as well as von Willebrand disease. And another miscellaneous agent is adrenochromomonosemi carbazone. It is believed to reduce capillary fragility, control oozing from raw surface and prevent microvessel bleeding like epistaxis, hematuria, secondary hemorrhages from the wound, but its efficacy is uncertain. Another miscellaneous coagulant is rutin. It is a plant glycoside which is claimed to reduce capillary bleeding. And another one is ethamsulate. It will reduce the capillary bleeding when platelets are adequate, probably exert their anti-hyaluronidase action as well as it will correct the abnormality of platelet adhesion. And this ethamsulate is used to prevention and treatment of capillary bleeding in case of menorrhagia, after abortion, PPH, epistaxis, hematuria and after tooth extraction. So that is all about the hemostatic agents as well as coagulant. Hope it is clear. Thank you for watching this video.